today I have a very special guest again, Allia Zobel Nolan, who is a wonderful authoress. Maybe not everybody has seen you or has seen your books, so why don't you just tell me a little bit about you?
Okay. Well, they call me the cat lady, Connecticut's cat lady, because I've written about 14 cat books. And, they'd say I used to be a journalist and I used to do feature stories and things, but I like to do humor. And they say, write what you know best. And I've always had cats. And there's so much humor in cats that it was facing me right in the face. I had all these cats and they were doing these crazy things. So I said, why not write about them? So I'm a member of the Cat Writers Association, and I also write Bible books. I write books for children. I write humor books for adults, and I've written over 150 titles. And my husband keeps asking me, when are you going to retire? And you can't retire from something that you love. What are you going to do?
Who wants to retire?
I love what I do. So it's not like I'm going to an office or something where I hate the job and I can't wait to retire.
Right.
I don't know what I would do, to tell you the truth, if I didn't write. I don't know what I would do. So.
Exactly. I can totally relate to that. So, Allia, tell me, because we have a reason for our interview today. You have written now, as you just said, 14 books about cats. What is so special about your current book? And when did it get released?
Well, I've written 14 books, adult humor books. Like this is one, Why a Cat is Better Than a Man, Purr More, Hiss Less. And Heavenly Headbutts. Oh my goodness. Cat Confessions. I've never written, it dawned on me, I've never written a book for kids. I write for kids and I write for cats, and I never put the two of them together. So I said, I think I'm going to write a book for kids. Although, the book that you have, Cat Confessions, there's a lot of pictures of cats in there, and little kids gravitate towards that. Yes. And even though it's not for kids, it's for adults, I have a lot of different, that's my favorite, the picture of the Sphinx cat. I have a lot of kids who really gravitate, and I'll tell you a funny story. I was doing a signing of Cat Confessions, and this little kid comes in on the father's shoulder, and he screams, cat, 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 because there was this big picture of Cat Confessions. So I gave him the book, and he was looking through it and everything, and his father said, well, it's not, give the book back. So he goes, no. So I said to the guy, you just have to buy it, that's all. So that's a marketing tip. Always put the book in the child's hands.
That always helps. It also helps in the display in the grocery store,
Yes. But this book,
you
can't see it too well here. Ooh. Anyway, it's called.
Can't see it.
Why can't this is the best part of it. The illustrations. I was so.
Yes. I want to ask you about it anyways.
But why can't my brother be more like my cat? And, all the books that have done very well have been like Why a Cat is Better Than a Man, 101 Reasons, and then 202 Reasons. And it's not male bashing, but it's comparing the cat to a man. And everyone seems to like those books. So I said to myself, well, if this isn't a man, it's a brother. I might as well keep that pattern going, because it's not brother bashing or male bashing. It's cat enhancing. Yeah. And, so I thought this is a formula that works. So I'm going to keep it. And sibling rivalry has been around forever and ever, since Cain and his brother and Abel. His brother Abel. And I couldn't think of the guy's name. And so, you always, when you go into stores, you see kids with the brothers and they're fighting or they're teasing each other. And I thought, instead of sibling rivalry between the brother and the sister, I'll do it between the brother and the sister, and I'll put a cat in there, in that mix. So that's what I did, and it turned out very well. I'm very happy with this book.
So I was wondering about, you settled on this topic because did you know about sibling rivalry? Do you have a brother? Is there any relation or anything you mentioned?
People have asked me that. They say, where'd you get the idea? Do you have a brother? I didn't have a brother, but I had a sister who was like a teasing brother. One time she put a lobster in my bed. No fooling, I swear. She put a lobster in my bed. I went to a live lobster.
A live lobster?
Yeah.
The
And
poor
also,
thing.
she was great. She was great on teasing and things like she was teaching me how to dance once, and it was on a linoleum floor. And she was teaching me the Lindy or some thing where you twirl the person around, but then you let them go. And she let me go. You know, you're not supposed to you're supposed to twirl them around, but not let them go. And I went flying into like some furniture. And,
Oh God.
And then another thing she used to do was, she was a health freak.
Mhm.
And we had one bedroom, so she used to open the windows when it was like -4 degrees, and I would be there shivering with covers on, and she would say, "It's good for you, you know, it's healthy. You should, you know, breathe in that nice frigid air."
Oh, that sounds like my mom. Yeah.
So although it wasn't a brother, it was a sister. It was
A sister.
It was just a big teaser.
Yes, so all your books are, I mean, except maybe for Heavenly Headbands, but all of them are like so positive, and they are so amusing and fun. So, but you always have a message in there too. So what is the message for this book?
Well, you know, I have a quote here. It reminds me, you know, we love our animals, and in particular, cats are, in this book, you know, the cat is doing all these wonderful things, but that's today. Cats are so fickle. Tomorrow, they wouldn't even give you the time of day, you know? So, but your brother, he may tease you or whatever, but he's there for you. You know, blood is, what do I have here? Kenny Rogers said, friends come and go, but families are forever.
Right.
And there's even like a scripture that says, a friend loves at all time, but a brother's for adversity. And that is perfect for this book, because it's got a surprise ending, which we won't tell people. But you know, cats are wonderful creatures, and they are very empathetic. Like if you're crying or you're not feeling good or something, some of them will feel that with you, and they'll come and they'll you know, they'll, like, I had this one cat, if I was in a bad mood or if I was crying, he would come up and try to soothe me. Yeah. But then there are the other cats who couldn't give a nickel for if you're, you know, what's wrong with you. So, but a brother is always there. You know, he may tease you and whatever, but if a bully comes or if you need something, your brother 9 times out of 10 will be there for you. So that's what I'm trying to get across to kids, that you know, your brother will always be there for you.
Yeah, that is very, very true and cute. So now tell me a little bit about this. This book is so cute. Tell me a little bit about the artwork, the illustrator. How did you find the illustrator?
Oh, this was a miracle, because this man is a New York Times best-selling illustrator. His name is Lee Wildish, and he has done a lot of these grandma books. You know, grandma does this and grandpa does that, and they're very popular, and they've been on the New York Times bestseller list for children's books for forever. I loved, as you can see, the curly-headed girl. I fell in love. I looked at his portfolio and I was drooling, and I said, you know, I'll never be able to get him, because first of all, he's too expensive, and second of all, you know, he probably will be busy. He probably won't have time. So I looked at his portfolio and I fell in love with a girl similar to this girl with the red hair. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance, because I'm a risk taker. They can only say no. People can only say no to you. So, but if you don't ask, you're not going to get, you know? Exactly. So I wrote him a letter and an email, and I said to him, this is a simple book. It's 32 pages. There's not a lot of background. So it's got 3 characters. So it's not like you're going to have to spend a lot of time fixing the, you know, and putting background in and painting this. And I said, you know, how much would you do it for such amount of money? And he said yes. And I was like over the moon. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. And he's used to working with a big publisher with an art director. Now, luckily, when I worked at Reader's Digest, I used to do a lot of art brief, which is you tell the artist what goes on every page. You don't tell them exactly, but you just say, I want a girl, she's 6 years old, she's got frizzy hair, and then they interpret but you have to give them some kind of, you know, something that they can go on. Right. So I worked with him, and he was just a doll, an angel to work with. And he even offered some suggestions. There's a part in there where I say the cat always is willing to share. And you have cats, you know that sometimes if they're outdoor cats, they bring you gophers and mice and whatever, and they want to share them, they want to share them with you. Well, I put that in there. I said, my cat is always willing to share. And I asked him to draw like some dead animals, like a gopher, a bird, and this and that. And he said, this might offend not only the bird watchers, but this might offend parents. And he's done a million books, so he has good input. He said, you might not, maybe we'll do, because if you have an indoor cat, the indoor cat does that with the toys, brings them to you and whatever. So he said, I think maybe we ought to try, stuffed animals or whatever. So I said, that's a good point, So we had a really good, even though he's in England and we had to do everything by email, but he, like I said, he was a dream. And when I asked him to make some changes, and I was a little nervous because I said, this man is like Leonardo da Vinci, and I'm asking him to make changes, just a few little things, and some things he missed. He didn't put shoes on everybody, but he went back in and he did it. And I learned a lot about working directly with the artist. Plus, when you work with somebody overseas and you have to send, I guess their money orders or things like that, and money transfers. So I learned a whole bunch of things working with him. But he was just an angel to work with, and I was very, very lucky to get him. And he said that I could put, you can't see it here, but over here is a little verse that says he's a New York best-selling author. So because a lot of people know him, so they'll pick up the book not because of me, but because of him. So I was blessed altogether with this book, and I just love it. And kids, I had a signing at Barnes and Noble the other day, and the kids went crazy for it.
That's fantastic. So tell me, did you self-publish this book? I
did. I self-published. See, here's the thing. I had a regular traditional book called Harriet Hurry Up. Kriegel published it for me, a traditional publisher. And I was going to do this book in the summertime, but the other book got put on a different list. So you can't have two books out at the same time. They don't like, the traditional publishers don't like that. So I had to put this book on the back burner. And in the meantime, my agent was going around trying to sell it. And I said, I want to get this book out. The art is done. Let me just do it myself. So I did it myself, and came out really well. Thank God. Came out.
That's fantastic. So where can people get it? So that we have that.
They can get it on Amazon. They can get it everywhere. You just have to put the name, Why Can't My Brother Be More Like My Cat, into Google, and it's at all bookstores because I put it on extended distribution or whatever, so anybody can buy it anywhere, and of course on Amazon.
Right.
If anyone wants a bookmark, a book plate with my signature, that's 50 cents extra. No, if anybody wants a bookmark, I can send it to them. My email is in my website, which is www.alliawrites.
Yes.
So
yes, that's fantastic.
I have a new book coming out.
That's what I was just about to say. So you have any new books coming out? Yeah.
I always forget about you telling my next book. It's called Finding Harmony, the Kitten Who Taught Friends Kindness. And we certainly do need that at this point in time. So that will be out in the summertime. The illustrator, I didn't care so much for the cover. I'm self-publishing that too, because by the time you get around, your agent gets it, sells it to somebody, and it takes like a year and a half. You could be dead by the time they, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to get these books out because they're good for kids, and the kids love them, and I love doing them. So
right, yeah, they're so nice. Everybody should get one of those, for sure.
Yes.
And I mean, if somebody Googles you up, Allia Zobel Nolan on Amazon, they can find all your.
Yes. It seems, I think I have more than 150 because there's a lot of translations and that's a real kick. I got a book that I did, Angels in the Bible Storybook. They just sent me the Chinese version.
Oh, yeah.
it's so thrilling to see it in a different language, and they did that in Chinese and Italian. So yeah, it's great to get the books. But cats, it's very funny. The first cat book I did, the publisher said, "Oh, cats are a fad. Nobody's gonna, this is a one-off. This book, you're never gonna see books."
No.
Meanwhile, everything is cat today. Everything is cat.
Right, and it's getting more. The tendency is really going up.
Going up.
How many cats do you have now?
I have 2, and they're well, this is a really quick story. We had a visitor the other night. We live in a place, it's almost like very foresty. There's very trees and everything. And my little girly cat, Colleen, was looking in my office, and she was looking, and I said, what's the matter? Get out of there. Get out of my files and everything. So she got out. But then I saw this little tail, and it was a mouse, because we get mice because we're in the forest here.
Yeah.
So she's sleeping now because she was on mouse patrol last night. She wouldn't move. The mouse must have been under something, and she would not move. She was like just standing there and sitting there, and so I said to myself, I don't have to worry about this because she's gonna get, that poor mouse doesn't stand a chance. And the 2 of them, if one doesn't get it, the other one does. So can't do anything about it when you're in the, you're surrounded by trees and leaves and wetlands.
Right. What I love is when cats team up. Sometimes we have like a grasshopper that hops into the house, and
yes.
all 5 cats, they're teaming up.
Yes.
As if they are silently communicating with each other who's attacking next.
Yes, I believe that. Well, this little girl is fast. Now the other one is stronger. The other one, Nolan, is about twice the size and the poundage of Colleen. But she's fast. I mean, she can run from here all the way down to the other end of the house in like a half a second. But I do miss having more cats. But we have a dog now. You know that we have the rescue dog, Miss Kitty.
Miss Kitty, yes.
Everybody laughs hysterically when I tell them what the name. But my husband kept going to the dog. Here, Kitty, here, Kitty. So I was going to name her Kitty. Why not? Very nice. I'm not a dog person, but this dog is so cat-like. There are dogs who are cat-like, and vice versa. There are cats who are dog-like. But she's just amazing.
Yeah.
So this book, is really a labor of love, and it's a reader, so it doesn't have a lot of words. So young kids were very, very attracted to these characters. The cat and the cat who is really not gray, and the brother. So they can commiserate. They see people in their own life who are like that.
Right.
So so I'm very happy about that.
Right, Allia. So you mentioned to me that you would be willing to give away 2 of those.
Yes.
Right. So that would be wonderful if we could do that on Instagram.
Definitely.
Something, and
we can give 2 books, and we can give 2 cat masks. I have cat masks, and I have 2 slap it bracelets. So we can give 2 cat slap it bracelets and 2 cat masks and 2 books.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I know that our listeners will definitely enjoy that. Listeners, viewers, yes, that would be fun. So let's do it soon. Okay, so
we'll have to come up with some kind of a contest that they could enter.
Let's make it easy. Like why should your brother or your dad or your friend
right
something like
that.
So
yes, definitely.
We'll come up with something. Okay, well, Allia, this was delightful again.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's like I feel happy that I'm publishing a lot of books, but on the other hand, I feel like I don't want to bother people, but people tend to like the books I do, so it's not really a bother.
Yeah, that's not a bother. No, it's something that people find interesting. So thank you so much, Allia, and have a wonderful day. Okay, I'll talk to you soon when the next book is out.
Okay, thank you so much, Petra.
Bye.
Stay cat crazy.